Well, hey, and welcome to another episode of Beetle Dustino coming at you again today with yet another video. And I talked about in my last video, we were going to talk about Beatles colored vinyl in this one. So with the recent news of new Beatles product coming out, we've got actually two albums coming out on colored vinyl from the Beatles, which is a rare thing. We've got the Hard Day's Night anniversary one coming out for National Album Day in the UK. And we've got the colored vinyl version of Meet the Beatles coming out for kind of an anniversary of the Beatles 64 coming to the US stuff coming out. So both are exclusives, but hey, we're getting Beatles colored vinyl, which has been a very rare thing. And I kind of want to discuss some of the history and possibly why it's such a rare thing with the Beatles. I don't know. Let's find out after the intro. So yeah, colored vinyl and the Beatles has been a very missed thing, I guess. I don't know. I am a fan of colored vinyl. I really am. And, yeah, is it gimmicky? Sure. But is it fun? Is it fun to collect? And yes, for sure it is. In this modern age where the vinyl resurgence is happening, I think a big part of that vinyl resurgence is colored vinyl. People love collecting the colored vinyl and all the different variants and such. Now, it does get a little overboard with like Paul McCartney with McCartney 3 and all the variants that had. Yes, was it fun collecting it, but kind of the aftermath of it, everybody's going, why do I need this many copies of McCartney 3? But, if you got like maybe kind of a standard issue color vinyl exclusive, maybe like a store or two that's got a special version, maybe two or three variations of it. That's pretty cool, I think, and kind of fun to collect. And you can kind of pick and choose which one you kind of like. In the past, just couple of years is the first that we've been getting any Beatles colored vinyl. I'm kind of going to go through. There's been some official stuff released, and I'm going to kind of go through what I found on this. And I might not have this all right. I've really been trying to research, and I've been surprised some of them that I found, and I might have missed a few things too. So let me know in the comments. This is going to be one open for the comments for sure. Let me know what's out there, and I'm only talking official stuff. I don't want to know about anything bootlegged or anything like that. We're only talking official, officially released by Apple, EMI, Capitol, whoever, legit Beatles released stuff. And, let's start with it, and it does kind of start out with Japan. Now, this one I don't know if I should truly count it because this was a pretty standard release for them back in the day. And I know for sure most of the Beatles albums did get a version of it. And there was some just special to Japan. So Japan had their version of Meet the Beatles. It came on that red vinyl. Of course, these are all red vinyl. They also had their version of the Beatles' second album. And they also had their version of A Hard Day's Night, which tracklist wise, it was, I think, mirrored the UK one, but had a different kind of album cover in that. They also had one unique to them, Beatles number 5, that came out in 1965. And then I know the box set, the CD box set that came out a couple years ago had Help, but I know it should have had probably Beatles for Sale in there. Those all came out in 65 also. Now we're kind of getting, and I got it in order of when they came out. Rubber Soul had a version that would have been the next one in 66, not 65. Please Please Me finally got a version in 66, and different album cover on that too, with the Beatles also a different album cover, and that came out in 66. And then Revolver came out in 66. And then there was Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, Magical Mystery Tour. Sgt. Pepper's came out in 67. Magical Mystery Tour came out in 68. The Beatles, the White Album came out in 69, Yellow Submarine 69, Abbey Road 69, and Let It Be in 70. Now, I didn't research into the compilations and such with this, but all these were released on a red vinyl. Now, supposedly it's supposed to be some audiophile vinyl, and it's supposed to sound a little better in that. So that's why I'm not sure if we should really count this, but there is a colored variation of it, at least not your standard black vinyl, with these Japanese releases. That I kind of found as a bit of interest there. But the main ones now, when we are truly getting into the kind of novelty aspect of it and that, Started coming out in 1978, and there was one before that, but we're going to focus right now on the 78 ones because this is when the majority of the Beatles colored vinyl came out. So France was one of the first ones to get this, and they had a Sgt. Pepper's release. I'm going to put it up there. You'll see all the colors. They had different variations on Sgt. Pepper's, so 8 different versions of it. There was one that was clear. There was also a green one, a yellow one, an orange one, a red one, a blue one, a purple one, and a white one. So there we go. There is all 8. And it kind of sounds like it was like the McCartney 3x3 release where there were the 3 variations of it and you didn't know which one you were going to get. I think that was the same deal with the Sgt. Pepper's release in France. I think you just bought an album and you got what you got. You didn't know what you were going to get until you opened it up. And so if you wanted all 8, you probably had to try a bit before you got all 8 there. So that's kind of the first one on that. And that was only available in France. That one did not come out in any other countries. Now there was the 1978 UK imports, and I gotta kind of credit Dave's Beatles channel. He kind of turned me on to the Sgt. Pepper's one too on this. I think he had 6 of the 8 in his collection. And then, and not to be confused with Beatle Dave, but Dave's Beatles channel. Yeah, but Beatle Dave did do one on these 1978 imports too, though. 1978 UK imports were supposedly, they were printed in the UK, so pretty good print quality on it and everything from what I've heard. They're really good sounding ones. And they were imported to the US. However, I found quite a few of these were available in France, in the UK, in Canada, had quite a few too, and obviously the US, which is where I think they were supposed to be coming to. Magical Mystery Tour was one of them on that list, so that's kind of funny, the UK making the one US album that did get adopted into kind of the core catalog. At that point, I don't think it was really that much adopted. I think it was definitely into the transition period there, but so you got a Magical Mystery Tour version though on yellow vinyl. You also got the white album, the Beatles, on what else but white vinyl. Now that one I think had more than the UK imports. I think that one was readily available in almost every country in the white in 1978, but I think it was also part of this UK imports. Please let me know in the comments here if I'm onto something there. Just based on what I could see looking at Discogs and the releases, that was the only one that I saw clearly marked. Other countries had it available. Let me know if I'm onto something on that though. I don't think Magical Mystery Tour was available much past the US on that, so that one would have been pretty exclusive to that. Abbey Road, however, had one in this list too, and that was on a green vinyl. That one, I believe, was just the UK import, and I do think France had a couple of those too. Let It Be was also part of this, and that had a white vinyl, which I think is the wrong color for Let It Be, believe it or not. Yeah, that one also was in there, white vinyl. But I did find in Sweden there was a red vinyl version in 1978 also. And that would be the color I'd expect Let It Be to be. So probably one of these days, I've been working on it for a while. I should have almost done this for this video, but go through what I think, what color each one should be on. But we'll maybe say that for another day. But yeah, that would be the 78 UK imports there basically. And I don't know what that Swedish copy of Let It Be falls under. And everything I saw that did say it was an official EMI, whatever release. That would be those ones. Now we get out of the main albums and kind of into the compilation albums. And the first one, I'm going to skip. Actually, no, we'll go to that one first, because that one would have been the first one, just a year ahead of all these. The Red and the Blue album, obviously everybody should know that had a red and blue version in the 70s, which would be 1978 also. But before that, 1 year before that, Love Songs, I'll have the picture up there, that had a yellow vinyl release, kind of a translucent yellow vinyl release in Canada, just in Canada on that one. So we'll talk about that one first, and then we'll get into the Red and the Blue album. So of course, those did get a release in 1978 also, so I don't know what it was with 1978 and doing this. They also got a red and a blue version, and in the UK, it was cool on the Apple label. I'll show that there, but I kind of like the Capitol label ones in the US because they made the label match the vinyl. So the red one had a red Capitol logo on it, and the blue one had a blue Capitol logo on it. And I thought those kind of look cool looking at the label with the vinyl there. Look really cool, but I do like the Apple ones too. Now, of course, this is the first one in the modern era. And I will say the modern era in terms of the vinyl resurgence, because I think the vinyl resurgence really started in the late 2000s to the early 2010s. Up to that point, there was one other Beatles release done in the late 90s that we will cover coming up here. But I wouldn't put that in the vinyl resurgence era. But there was a colored vinyl in the late 90s. And we'll get to that soon. But yeah, of course, in 2023, the Red and the Blue album, and I actually got these, did get released. And I'm skipping one too because I forgot to put it in my notes. But yeah, we got the Red album here. And this is the new 2023 mix one with the triple album, not the double album. And I'll just show you on the one, but they did get the red version here. I'll show you the side 1 and side 2 on that. And these, of course, did go with the Apple label. And I love how they did the Apple label with the red around. I think the original ones were like that too. And of course, we had the Blue album also in 2023, expanded out to 3 discs. And it had a blue version. We'll pull that out. Got my booklet there. And there's the blue vinyl for the Blue album, side 1 and side 2. And the rest of the discs look the same, so I'm not going to pull out each one, but just kind of as an example of the modern era, but yet it is recreating one from 1978. So these would be pretty similar to the UK ones from 1978 with the Apple label on. So those, of course, had it 78 and 2023. And then I already mentioned Love Songs. I also did find there was a couple others. Now, I think these are a little more obscure, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but everything I saw, these were official releases. But in 1982, Real Music had a yellow US promo version of it, a numbered US promo version. I'll have the images up there. And also on Real Music 2 in Ecuador had a blue vinyl version of it. And everything I could see, these were official. Let me know if I'm wrong. And then in, it was also 1982, 20 Greatest Hits had a translucent brown version in Mexico. Got the picture up there. And also a blue vinyl version in Colombia. So everything I saw, those were all official. The US one for Real Music was a promo only. Wasn't for sale, so I'm assuming that was just given out to record shops or DJs or something like that, or industry insiders. I'm not sure. But yeah, that one, and let me know in the comments if you know on that, of course, too. That one wasn't really for sale to the public, so I don't know if I should be adding that to this list, but I thought it was kind of cool when I was doing the research on this. Now we'll get to that late 90s one that I was mentioning about, and that would be the Yellow Submarine song track. That did get released on vinyl when that got released in 1999. And there was a yellow vinyl version of it, which looks really cool, and I'd really love to find one day, but they are getting expensive. I'm kicking myself. About 2-3 years ago, I saw a copy of it on Discogs for $45, and I passed it up. I'm really kicking myself on that now because I think they're about twice that now, if not even more. That one I'd like to find, and it's tough to say, is that the modern era or not? And I really think if we're counting the modern vinyl resurgence, it's 2010 and up. I'm going to just call it right there, 2010 and up. Obviously, with the Red and the Blue album getting re-released in 2023, we also had Now and Then, the new single, come out, and that had several vinyl variations on colored vinyl. So the first one here in the US here, it was a Target exclusive. It was on red vinyl, which makes sense for Target. So there's that one. And the Love Me Do on the red Parlophone label there. There was also the blue vinyl 7-inch. We'll take a look at that really quick. And the clear vinyl 7-inch. And this one is super clear. Much like that recent Mind Games meditation mix release. And then the last one, the marble vinyl, which was exclusive to the Beatles store, their online store. And there's my copy on that. And I totally forgot in my notes, so I'll have words in the corner. Will show me the release dates and that up there. But we did have the Beatles the Christmas records box set that came out in, was it 2017 or so? This had colored vinyl, and this would have been actually the first one in this modern era that did have it. So that was kind of surprising on that. These were totally a recreation anyway. It's not a duplicate of the originals per se, because the originals were the flexi disc, and these were actually on heavier gram vinyl. I think the box said something about 180 gram, but it wasn't. I don't know how a single could be 180 gram. I guess the equivalent of what a 7-inch record could be for that. Let's maybe just take a quick look at these. I got the first one here, and I'll just pull it out like this. It's on a white vinyl on this one, so that should be good there. I've got some really good videos on this. I've done these twice, I think, with a video. I'll link that in the description here, those 2 videos. We got the second one here on this red translucent. Looks just great. Makes sense for Christmas too. Then the next one on the blue. There we go. I'll have a blue Christmas. And the next one here, and it was already sliding out. No inner sleeves with these or anything, but this kind of neon yellow translucent there. Looks really cool with that. And then the next one here, and this one is a green translucent. Up next, we got this one on the clear. Not quite as clear as those other ones have been so far, but kind of there. And the last one here, the 69 one, on this kind of orangish one here. So that's kind of the modern releases on this. And like I said, we got the Meet the Beatles was the first one that we knew was coming out. It's not going to be the first one to be released. So, and then the white UK version of A Hard Day's Night is getting the 60th anniversary version coming out in the UK there. Both of them are exclusive because the Meet the Beatles is only going to be available at exclusive stores, retailers. I know in the US it's Target. Is it HMV in the UK, I think? So that'll have that blue vinyl version of that, which looks just great. You know, if they would have done all the albums in that box set, done a colored vinyl version, I think there would have been more of a story there for it. And I probably would have kept my pre-order with it, especially if it was at that price. I maybe could have justified it a little more. Still not really when I think about it, because usually colored vinyl is only about $5 more than the regular vinyl. So, but anyways, I'm getting my Meet the Beatles. I want to try everything I can to hunt down one of those Hard Day's Night ones and try to get that too. I'm really kind of excited and kind of questioning why hasn't there been a lot of, especially in this modern era when they've been releasing stuff. Now they've done picture disc with all these anniversary and special edition versions. So I know Sgt. Pepper's had a picture disc. White Album didn't. I guess how can you do a picture disc with that one? Well, actually, I could see how you could do the portraits of them on that. I could see that on a picture disc. I guess that would make sense for the White Album. That one didn't, but Abbey Road did, Let It Be did, Revolver did. There was also recently the Yellow Submarine single with Eleanor Rigby that had a picture disc version. So, they're not shy to do the picture disc, it seems like, but they kind of shy away from colored vinyl, even though in the last couple of years we've got quite a bit. I think the Christmas album or Christmas records box set here was kind of an outlier, but you know, what is it that the Beatles shy away from it? Is it because it is such a kind of gimmick and novelty thing? You know, is that maybe why the Beatles are trying to be taken seriously and not whatever? Every other artist does it though, so I don't get why the Beatles kind of shy away from it. And when I think about it, even in their solo careers, haven't done a lot. Ringo's had a few and Paul's had quite a few. But George and John really haven't had a lot. So it's getting out there though now. And I feel like almost every release coming up here now is going to have, from George and John, is going to have something. Well, no, I'll say George. George for sure. John still, Mind Games really didn't, aside from the clear meditation mix one, I don't think there's been much on that. And yeah, only really the Give Me Some Truth compilation that came out, that's had a colored vinyl version. And that was a store exclusive. And Imagine had, when its Ultimate Mix came out, had a colored vinyl. And since has had an anniversary edition based on that same one on a different color though. So that one's had a couple, but yeah, I guess not much more past that. So I don't know. What is it that is holding the Beatles back on that? I don't get it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm really thinking it's that they're trying to, you know, they think their collectors are a little more serious, and, you know, that's just kind of a novelty thing. Then again, I know several of us YouTube channel guys that are big Beatles fans, and we all love colored vinyl. I know Beatley Tone always mentions it, obviously. Beetle Brad. And, you know, it's usually the same color on both sides with Beetle Brad. So, but yeah, just let me know your thoughts on that. on why you think they're shying away from it, and do you think we're going to be seeing more in the future? Is Meet the Beatles and A Hard Day's Night getting released on a colored vinyl version? Is this maybe some hope for the future that maybe we're going to be starting to see some more of the catalog released on it? Especially as vinyl is really overtaking CDs right now. So, are they going to be putting out a couple of variations to kind of, get a few more sales on that? I don't see the standard black vinyl ever dying out and it being exclusively colored vinyl, but I think it would be fun to see some colored vinyl releases on this. And I think kind of like the Stones did with their in mono box set, it would be cool to see the Beatles reissue the in mono set and to do it on colored vinyl like the Stones did. So what do they copy them? The Stones have copied the Beatles in the past, so why not them copy what what the Stones did for once? So, and I mean, it goes back and forth. It's not just them with that, but I don't know if I'm onto something with the fact that they just think it's too gimmicky or what. Like I said, let me know your thoughts. Let me know if I missed anything on this. I feel like I did. This is what I found, and this is what I'm sticking with. But I do believe that there is some more out there. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Do you want to see Beatles on colored vinyl too? Let me know that in the comments too. Let me know what you think the album should be done up on too. If they do a colored vinyl issue, what color do you think the vinyl should be with each album? Or just if you want to just do a couple of your favorites, just let me know there too. But yeah, I'm just opening up the comments on this. Let me know your thoughts on this all. Like I said, would you like to see more? I really think that this US albums box set would have done better as a colored vinyl version, especially with younger fans, coming into it. I think they would have been more interested in it with that. I think that Target edition, HMV edition of Meet the Beatles is going to sell far better than anything else because it's kind of unique. Where, the other stuff, it's kind of, what's the point of this? We wanted the Rubber Soul box. And if you haven't watched my Rubber Soul box, what if or whatever, go check that out. My last video, I'll also have that linked in the description here below. But I am really rambling, and I knew this one was probably going to end up being a little longer, but I just kind of wanted to go through that history and why they aren't releasing much. When every other artist, it seems like, is. So, all right. But before I do get signing out totally, I am going to thank all my subscribers and thanks to any new subscribers. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And do hit the notification bell so you know when I got new videos coming out. Also, please give the video a like. It really does help out the channel. And like I always say, if you've stuck around to this point, you must like it. So please give it a like and do leave a comment. I love having a discussion with everybody, especially on this video. I really want to know your thoughts on this. Why they haven't put out much. Would you like to see them put out stuff? And what colors would you like to see on what albums if you do want to see that? Let me know that all in the comments. And also let me know if I missed anything. That's the kind of the 4 topics there that we're going to say to leave in the comments. Let me know on that. Because I feel like I probably did miss some official stuff. And like I said, only official. Make sure it's official because I don't want to know about the fake stuff. All right. Anyways, I am Beatle Dustino signing out.